it's Sally here. Just a quick one. If you like this really sweary podcast by Kelechi, do remember to rate and review Say Your Mind on Apple Podcast, okay? Now for the very urban intro music.
It's the Benz Punani womanist, baby boys, baby girls, you need to hear this. You sit down, receive this realness. Make sure your cup's ready for the tea, we are go sip it, yo. Hard time scrolling for your long throats. You might learn something you never know. Collect you fine, and she's one of a kind. Don't say your mind, say your mind.
Straw maker, make me a straw to fling when I'm cussing so raw. Straw maker, and it's a straw me a fling when people them try a ting. For Nigeria, I'll fling a straw out to Lizzie Regina. The monarchy are pricks for me. Well, I wouldn't holler if they would just give back our fucking things. Straw maker, make me a straw to fling when I'm cussing so raw. Straw maker, so straw me a fling when people them try a ting. Woohoo! Woohoo! Wow. The musical theatre jumped out. Wow. Yes. So that was Matchmaker from Fiddler on the Roof. If you don't know, I love musical theatre. And I guess like you study things in life and then you realise that actually they come in really, really handy later on. I think that that's really what happened with me, studying musical theatre at Brit School. That I did at the time, I fucking hated it. I did it by accident, I thought that it was just going to be like, I'll do music, I'll do theatre, and I'll do dance. I didn't realise that it literally meant musical theatre, like that's what I would be studying. So yeah, I was a wild child during that time, but it opened my eyes to so much. And so yeah, I'm a big fan of musicals. But it's interesting because before I went to Brit School, that's all I really did at secondary school. I was in all of the plays, and all of the plays, because of Miss Parrott, all of the plays were like musical theatre plays. So I played Golda in Fiddler on the Roof when we did that. I played Henry Higgins when we did My Fair Lady. I went to a girls' school. So I played Henry Higgins there, and people thought I was so good playing Henry Higgins. They thought I was a boy. I don't know quite how to take that. And I was a hotbox girl in, Guys and Dolls. Was that it? And even before that, when I was in primary school, I played Maria in West Side Story. I just think it's interesting, like mentioning all of these things, right? Because I'll be cussing, I'll be effing and blinding, but actually my musical theatre kind of repertoire is quite extensive. But it's good to know all of these songs because then you can switch them up. Like, I remember I did one on here, On the Street Where You Live. That's one of my favourites. That was from Guys and Dolls, wasn't it? Yeah. Was that My Fair Lady? Always muddle them up. But, they're absolutely big tunes everywhere. And I love it. I live for it. I love all of the things. But you're wondering who's speaking? It is I, Kelechi. Don't fucking call me that. My name's Kelechi. In the blood clot place to be. Welcome to another episode of SYM, officially known as Say Your Mind, unofficially known as what? That's right, Suck Your Mum. Woo! Glad to be back. And if you're listening for the first time, welcome. Don't know where you've been. If you're back again, well, welcome. I'm loving that you return. So we're going to get into all of the things. I don't know. This morning, I woke up and had this real kind of acute sense of being alive. I can't quite explain what I mean by that, other than like yeah, I just woke up being very, very aware that I'm alive and I'm having this human experience. It was really freaky, but at the same time, it was like my mind really zoned in on being here. And I think sometimes we zone out. Maybe somebody else out there understands what I'm trying to say, but I used to have it a lot as a child, and it used to be so scary that I used to try to um, phase it out or tune it out. Because when I sit there and I'm very, very still, I'm very, very aware that I'm alive. Um, I can't quite articulate it. Maybe I'll find a way to explain it more, but it's a very, very hyper awareness of being here right now and being like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Oh my God, wow. Yeah, very freaky. So I went to the Ear for Eye premiere at the BFI London Film Festival yesterday, because I record on a Sunday. So I went yesterday and it was brilliant. I saw the play. I think I must have mentioned it on here. I saw the play. Was it around 2018 at the Royal Court Theatre? So it was great to see that they turned it into a film. Written and directed by Debbie Tucker Green. I think Debbie Tucker Green is so fucking incredible as a creative, as a playwright. Just like from Random to Ear for Eye. There's something else that I watched as well, like The Hanging. Yeah, I think it was The Hanging. Or is it The Hand? Like, mate, Debbie can fucking write. Woo! My God. So it was nice to be invited actually to come out and watch, and I wore my green. Is it lime green? People kept calling it yellow. It's lime green, the dress that I wore to the event, and I wore my little cute shoes from Aquazura. There are other shoes I've seen as well. I love shoes a lot. I just don't get to really wear them. That's the issue. I really like a nice shoe, a nice bag. But I don't tend to get many bags. But in terms of shoes, I like getting shoes when I can. But I mean, I've got some shoes that I bought at uni or just after uni. So that's 2009. So as much as I like shoes, I think I kind of went in another direction and stopped buying so many heels. I started buying like trainers and stuff. And obviously my Vibram 5 Fingers for running. It's interesting, really, because, you know, I was mentioning how I'm going into my 12th house perfection year. Well, based on the whole sign, if we're using the whole sign chart, if we're talking about astrology or whole sign houses or whatever, then yeah, I'm going into my 12th house perfection year. And that's a year of like, well, the way that they describe it, it's like either like lots of hidden things or maybe you travel quite a bit. I don't know. But it's just like, there's just this sense of things being like hidden and you're kind of preparing to sort of like emerge for your first house perfection year. So there's maybe lots of things that you're doing behind the scenes that then in your first house perfection year, when you're 36, that then come to the light. You can see that. I feel like Lewis Hamilton is a great example of that. So last year, 2020, was his 12th house perfection year, and we're literally in lockdown. And he discovered so much about himself that was probably hidden from himself. And then now he's in his first house perfection year, and all the things that he's learned, he's actually putting into action with like the things that he's doing. I know that he did that like poem things on the t-shirt with George the Poet. That was interesting. And so, yeah, I feel like more things are coming to the fore based on the things that you learned in your 12th house perfection year. So that's why I find astrology so kind of like so interesting. And again, I implore you, if you are that way inclined, to go and find out about your chart, because to simply go, oh, I'm a Virgo or I'm this, meaning that you only really know, like, imagine like, I can't live if living is without you, or shibby dooby doo doo. Imagine like a badass Mariah Carey song, yeah? But you only know Ken Lee. Like, you only know the first line. It's obviously can't live, I can't live. But imagine all you knew is I can't live. But you don't know the rest of the song. You might know the rough tune or the melody, but you don't know the rest of the words to the song. That's what it's kind of like if you only know your sun sign and you don't know the rest of your chart because you don't know the rest of the song. So it's kind of good to kind of like have that understanding, basically. Or like the Sagittarian mind, he gave the example of like your chart is to be looked at like a recipe for something, like you're creating something with this recipe. If you only know the individual ingredients in isolation and not how much goes in where and how, you know, depending on how you're mixing up the thing, then you don't really, the recipe can't bang basically, because you don't know how to put everything together. Like you don't know, like your final product won't really bang because you don't, first of all, you don't know all of the ingredients and how they marry. You only know one singular ingredient. So you do, yeah. So you can't really figure out the potency based on the recipe that you're trying to execute. But for those of you who are like, oh, that's devil things, I honestly can't do it. Then leave it alone. But I just thought I would make that suggestion. But yeah, Ear for Eye was brilliant. I had a really good time. I went with my baby girl, Diana. It was really good to see that. I'm so annoyed though, because usually my skin is rather clear, right? But suddenly I had this breakout. I know it was because of stress, and also I've been eating some real stupid things. So my skin was just doing what it wants. Like my hormones were a bit higgy, but luckily Rotty came round and beat my face before I went, and so overall I looked like a cutie. It's always good to remember that I'm sexy. Just the PSA there. And overall it was a really great experience. Before that, the night before that, I went to a Coco, the restaurant. I went on a solo outing, and the food was really great. I scrolled past somebody in my request who wrote something like, that menu said, what is it? That menu said, kill all the animals or something, kill them the fuck all. Something like that. And it made me laugh because the menu is it's not, vegan, vegetarian friendly at all. And here I go going, oh yeah, rah, 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 rah. And then I go to this place to go and eat, and everything is just, well, not everything, because there were the Guinness bread and the yassa butter. The butter would have had dairy sauce. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed a Coco. It's so pretty. And they actually got it right, because when I went to Stork restaurant, right, there's this meal that they serve, and they serve it on pebbles. And I honestly, for the life of me, I can't fucking understand why. Because as far as I'm concerned, one of the rules that I like to follow is if that whatever's on the plate, I should be able to eat. So you can't put fucking pebbles on my plate and then I'm not able to eat it. And then if the pebbles are there, what is their purpose? Are they there because they're warm and they're keeping the food warm? I don't get it, because my food therefore was not warm. So yeah, that was a bit annoying. But in terms of a Coco, it was literally like art. I took so many pictures with my new Samsung. I've got two phones. One's an iPhone and one's a new Samsung. And the pictures just look so nice, because sometimes I'll make some banging food and then I'll take a picture of it on my phone and it looks like fucking shit. Even when I take pictures of myself on my iPhone sometimes, I'm just like, but no, when I looked in the mirror, I was paying. So what is this? How am I now looking like the frog and the prince? What the fuck? Or the princess and the frog, Abby? Mad. In my eyes, when I use my eyes, I look like the princess, and I look in the camera phone and I look like the frog. What the fuck? So yeah. Took my pictures on my Samsung because it literally looked like a work of art. Like it's a 9-course tasting menu. Yeah, when I tell you, like by the 5th course, I was on the fucking ropes, mate. But that's because I ate before I went. I had this no, it wasn't a random idea. Let's blame Audrey from the Receipts podcast. Just call me Audrey. Audrey was on Instagram Live the other day, and she was like, "Oh, I've got this recipe where I make mashed potatoes and I use truffle oil." After I make it, I add truffle oil to the mashed potatoes. And I thought, you know what? That sounds like a banger. Yeah? So, bangers and mash. No, anyway. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try that. And it just got stuck in my head. I think Audrey should go on MasterChef Celebrity MasterChef. Audrey should go. She'd be a vibe. Like, Audrey's so funny. I think she should go on there. And she likes cooking. So, yeah, I think she should go on. Audrey, if you're listening, go on Celebrity MasterChef, please. So I wanted to make the truffle mash. So I made that, and I made that with some lamb, and it absolutely slapped. But I made it knowing full well, like a fucking idiot, that I was going for a 9-course tasting menu in the evening. But because there was such a gap between when I made my food and when I was going, I thought, no, I'll be fine. And sometimes these 9-course tasting menus, the thing that they give you looks like the size of an atom. Yeah, it looks like it's tiny. So I just thought, it's not going to get me like that. Nah. By the 5th course, I was on the fucking ropes, mate. So I had to kind of like slow down and have all of the courses. And it was beautiful. I had like this Scotch bonnet lemon cordial as my soft drink. Yeah, I just had a really great time. It was a treat to myself. I looked cute, cash. Had to wear my JW Andersons, and I wore them with socks. No, did I? No, I didn't wear them with socks. When I went to the Black Minds Matter event on, when was that? Thursday evening to be on the panel with Nicole Crenshaw and Marvin Harrison. I wore my JW Anderson with socks there and a pair of jeans and like a satin cream shirt. That looked cute. Look at me doing fashion blogger. But I guess, you know, like I got here in a really roundabout way. What I was really saying is that I feel like I've been given some respite to actually do up fashions for a little bit, you know, because I'm so deeply in work behind the scenes, right, in terms of shedding and doing all of this stuff, that I don't get to like dress up the way that I would like based on the things that I actually have available to me in my wardrobe. Like I've got lots of things that I just haven't worn. So it's nice to get a break from like spirit, from the ancestors, where it's just like, oh yeah, you go ahead, girl, you can look cute for 5 minutes and then back to work. But yeah, it was nice to kind of put a few fits together and go out and have a great time. But yeah, definitely recommend Akoko, because that was cute. That was a vibe. It's black owned. It's owned by this black guy, RG. And yeah, they've got the head chef, I think is a white guy, but really, really good. Really, really, really nice stuff. I really enjoyed it. Work of art, beautiful food, and not even beautiful gowns, just beautiful food. And drinks. The drinks were really nice. So yeah, anyway, that's what I've been up to. Ear for Eye, Akoko, Black Minds Matter. I've just been out here. Sometimes I forget some of the things that I've done or I'm doing. It's actually quite a lot. But yeah, I'm sure there's lots of things that I've forgotten that I have been doing, but you're probably going to see them come up or show up in the next few days or in the next couple of weeks. You'll see some of the other things that I've been doing as well. So yeah, a baby girl has been busy. Okay, let's jump into the tarot for this week and get on with the things. So the tarot for this week is really interesting. When I was shuffling, the word or the phrase that came to me was just keep going. So I feel like this is a special message for those who might just be having a really hard time right now, because you know, as well as, you know, it's mental health month as well, isn't it? So those who might be having a really hard time right now, this felt like a message for you. So this is really one of those ones where it might just not apply to everybody. This is very specific for somebody who really needs it. So and it's funny because as I heard that you know, just keep going. The cards that came out really reflected that. So the first card that came out is the God of Wands in reverse. So that's the King of Wands in reverse. And then we've got the Judgment card. That's card 20. And then we've got the Strength card in reverse. That's number 8 in reverse. And then we've got the Four of Cups. So really interesting message here. Like some people right now feel like they want to give up on the fight. Like they're just so tired. They're over it all. They just can't really be bothered anymore. They're just really tired. Some people, it might even be like a deep depressive state as well, just because of everything that's happening, and just feeling like, I don't know how much longer I can hold out in doing all of this. And that's why the Judgment card came out. Like, you've got to hang on. Like, you're not on your own. And I know that sometimes things can feel really, really lonely, but it's remembering that you are not on your own doing this. The fact that you're even able to listen to this right now is just that reminder. If Spirit is going to be able to get through to you in any way whatsoever, they're trying to, you know, if Spirit's going to be able to get through to you in any way whatsoever, your ancestors, your spirit guides are able to get through to you in any way whatsoever, you can take this like message as the sign that you are not alone. Like, it can feel really fucking tough sometimes, my God. And it doesn't diminish the impact or the severity of the things that you've been through. They're just saying like, don't give up, because the Judgment card, I'm using the Afro Goddess Tarot card or the card deck, right? And they're going up these steps, right? And this card's come up quite a bit in the last few days, but there is that collective energy of like, we're working towards something that is going to take a while to get to, but the destination is assured, yeah? The victory is assured. And that's what I see here. Like the Judgment card, the woman is wearing like a sheer kind of gown. You can see her booty cheeks, and then there's a big horn that's being blown in the sky, and she's walking up there's lots of steps, and she's walking up, and then we can see at the top of the steps like just an opening that looks like almost like the World card, like they're coming to the end of a cycle, they're coming to the end of something, but we're seeing an opening that looks like a beautiful garden, peace, abundance, replenishment, all of that. But they're walking up the steps, and there are quite a few steps ahead of them that they've got to walk up, but you can see the end. You can see where they're heading to in terms of the beauty of it all. I'm not talking like end to end, but I'm talking about just the end of this cycle of hardship that you feel like you're going through. I know like we hear about that saying often, but it's honestly remembering that this too shall pass. Like you've got to hang on in there. And the Strength card in reverse, there is that energy of feeling like you just don't have the strength to go on, but you're also being shown that there are different ways to be strong. Even if your previous energy was boss energy, like that's how you got things done, like with brute force. What's happening right now is showing you that you cannot use brute force to get the things that you want. Like life is not going to bend to your will in the way that you are probably used to before. You're going to be asked, or you're being asked to tap into a different type of strength, a strength that is about vulnerability, a strength that is open to surrender. There is strength in surrender. Like there is something about accepting situations as they are and then going, now that I know what I'm dealing with, this is where I'm going to go from here. But to constantly try to not accept what is right in front of you, and you're trying to circumnavigate it, like, well, I don't have to accept that. I'm going to find a way around this, and I'm going to do it my way. Look, Frank Sinatra tried a thing with their way or his way. You can try a thing with your way. Yeah, I guess so. But the way that's going to slap the most? Spirit's way, God's way. Yeah. So the sooner that you're willing to be like, you know what? I ain't got it. I ain't got it the way that I think I've got it. Yeah. And you're allowing spirit to help you. You're allowing your spirit guides to help you, because at the moment I'm getting like the feeling like it's one of them things where you're doing this whole I'm alone and nobody cares about me and I'm doing this by myself. And I'm not even saying that again to diminish what you're going through. It's a lot, but you are in that space of I'm doing it by myself. But I promise you, every breath in, every breath out, that is a collective energy. That is a collective effort from everyone that's come before you, that loves you and wants for your highest good. You're not doing a lot of these things alone. I promise you, you're probably doing like 5% of the actual work. 95% of it is being done by your spirit team, by God. Like, you are not doing as much work as you think you do. So if your 5% is so difficult, you know what? They're happy to take the rest. If you're happy to take the rest of the burden from you, you've just got to hand it over. You've got to accept help. And so I talk about like making sure before you speak to any other person or any other soul in the morning, saying the things that you want over your life, like speaking it into existence, making the first utterance of words in your day about the things, the good things that you want for your life and for your loved ones. Do that. We don't have to call it prayer, but just the first words that come out of your mouth should be the things that you want to see manifest in your life, and give a time scale as well. In terms of weeks, months, years, like give a time and be realistic. And by realistic, I don't mean like in terms of this reality, but don't be like, oh, by 5 p.m. this afternoon, I want 20 million pounds. But I'm saying like, let your soul guide you as to the time frame that would work for you. But also once you've done that, you've got to have the strength of spirit to let things go and give things over to your spirit team. But you also have to be really precise and give direction. Like, what do you want them to do? How do you want them to go about it? You've got to, learn that precision, like say what it is you want. Because sometimes when you actually start hearing the things that you want, you might be like, rah, that's mad still. And then you might recalibrate your expectations. But right now, if you're not really knowing what you want and telling them how to go about doing it for you, or just telling them what you need, they'll figure out how to go about doing it for you, then we can't really move very far. And I say that because the Four of Cups is the final card in all of this, which is saying that you're refusing help. You're refusing celestial help. You're refusing the help of your spirit guides because you're so in your zone of, oh, I'm doing this alone. I'm doing this alone. You're not. You're not. I promise you, if they even gave you 1 extra % of the work that they're doing for you, you'll fall down right now. You will fall down right now on this ground, right? So understand that a lot of the things are being done. Your path is being made clear, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if things don't look clear to you right now. The path before you is being made clear. You just have to have that strength of character, that strength of spirit to be like, you know what, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I trust that it will work for my greater good, and please can I be directed to the next best decision to make in my current situation, and just take it one decision at a time, one moment at a time, one moment in time. Shamana na 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 na. R.I.P. Whitney Houston. I'm such a mess. Oh my God, I'm such a mess. Anyway, I pray that message resonates with you. Yeah, I know that people would have looked at the title of this episode, especially who it's featuring. I haven't thought of a title yet, but you'll definitely know that it's featuring Yvonne Orji. And you'll be like, bitch, get to Yvonne's bit. I'm tired of hearing your fucking shit. Get to Yvonne's bit. So, yeah, I'll say that's that for the tarot. Anyway, I'll big up the first, the only sponsor, am I right? I could be talking shit again. But anyway, I'll big up this week's show sponsor, who are LinkedIn, and then we'll jump into Share Your Magnificence. So, thank you to LinkedIn for sponsoring this week's episode. Thank you. Today, many small business owners are busier than ever. Time spent searching for and interviewing candidates can take time away from managing and growing a business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has made it easier to get to the candidates worth interviewing faster, and it's free. I've been interviewing candidates for new positions at the studio, mainly yoga teachers at the moment. I've been looking for a couple twerk teachers as well, but certain people want to try and move mad. But we move, looking at different people, looking at different options. And I can tell you that it is very, very time consuming to go through CVs and to be doing all of that. Anyway, you can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network with over 30 million people in the UK. Focus on candidates with the skills and experience you need. Use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. So, LinkedIn Jobs helps you to find the candidates worth interviewing faster, and you can post a job for free. Just visit linkedin.com/straws. That's linkedin.com/STRAWS. Again, that's linkedin.com/straws. So head over there and post the job for free. And obviously, terms and conditions apply. Anyway, let's get to Share Your Magnificence. You all just keep sending letters and all of the things in. And I promise you, I know I say week after week that I'm trying to get through to them or get through them, but I really, really am. So, I'm trying. I'm working through it. If you want to send your letters or voice notes in, you can send it to sym@kelechiokafor.com. And if you're sending voice notes, please keep it to about 2 minutes. Some of you are really moving wild with your 10-minute voice notes. Trust and believe I just move it to the side because I can't come and kill myself in this life. So the first Share Your Magnificence letter I'll start with says, Dearest Kelechi, I hope this email doesn't just find you well, but eternally blessed, surrounded by Mother God and Father God's love and security. Yay, that's how I refer to them. I pray that you and yours are protected and looked after materially and spiritually. I'm writing to you to do something I rarely do. I'm going to praise myself. As a long-time listener, I have always loved your tarot readings and have listened multiple times because no matter the situation, they always drag me and remind me of the discipline of living in my spiritual truth. I have always been comfortable with the dragging because of childhood trauma. I find it easier to indulge in the feelings of inferiority than praise. So unfamiliar is the feeling that I don't even know where to start. Last September, I was not only depressed, but I was ready to die. Not only was pentatonic making it difficult to be a socially anxious Black woman, but the flagrant disrespect from other communities in the face of our pain was weighing on my mind. I think fundamentally people misunderstand the impact of mental health struggles on Black femmes. We live in a country not equipped to deal with the tragedy of the gaslighting, brutality, and violence we grow up with. Most of us enter adulthood already traumatized, and diagnoses never really capture the full picture. I'm glad that more Black women are entering the psychological and neurological space and are able to speak and put our lives in context to demographics that have previously gatekept these spaces. Sorry, I'm rambling. I told you I wasn't good at this. I joined Clubhouse in the hopes of finding people to talk to and connect with during a time that human company was sparse for me. It turned out that not only could I be myself, but I also found myself in spaces talking intellectually about the struggles Black femme and non-binary folk experience in the context of sex work. I was confronted with the tropes about trafficking, which is not regarded as sex work because it is non-consensual, just like slave wages are not employment. From that, I was to have conversations with many other amazing women about what feminism means in this context. Since the above, I've brought myself out of the clutches of depression and complex PTSD. I have been featured 3 times on Aloni's podcast. I'm on the most recent episode. If any of your listeners would like to check it out, of course, go and check out Laid Bare podcast by the baby girl Oloni, who I've always admired. I set up a fund to help Black sex workers, and we were able to hand out funds to 8 sex workers. The fund was not able to reach as many people as we hoped, and I had added the GoFundMe link for the overall fund and a PayPal pool for a lady we helped previously, but is now in urgent need of funds for therapy and rent. Should any of your listeners be so inclined to donate, we would be grateful. I'll put the link for those things. I'll put the link in the captions of this episode. I've been asked to speak on panels. I've become more comfortable not only talking about my past relationship with sex work, but to be an advocate. I sit in a place of privilege because of the socioeconomic circumstances I grew up in, and now that I'm using my voice and that privilege is my calling. Thank you so much for all that you do as a Benz Punani Womanist sex worker ally. I loved your discussion on GBTV or GB News. I pray your cup will always be filled and that ancestors not only look after you, but back up every cussing you send to the wayward. All my love, Shah. Thank you. 2 slaps on your chest, baby girl. Baby girl, thank you so much. That was a lovely message. I'm so glad and proud of so many of you who are like now venturing into living your best lives because of, you know, some of the tidbits that you've taken from this podcast and what you've gotten from the world at large. Like even something like Clubhouse, where it just descended into waywardness. But in the initial stages, it was really good to be able to connect with people and hear people's voices when everything felt so kind of isolated. So even if you haven't written into the podcast or we've never met, just the fact that you tune in every week or whenever you can and you're doing your thing, I'm so incredibly like proud and pleased for you that you're getting to show up in the world as you, because that is what you deserve. That is what we all deserve, to be able to kind of show up in this world as who we truly are and be celebrated for that. So 2 slaps on you lot's chest, innit? So next, what do I have? Okay, I've got another letter. Let's see here. It says here, good morning, Kelechi. My name is Chanel and I work at Blueprint for All. We and 3 other organizations have formed a project called Love, Sex, Life, which centers Black and minority ethnic sexual and reproductive health in Lambeth, Southwark and Lewisham. The specific communities that the partnership focuses on are Black ones, African, Caribbean, British, Afro-Latinx, etc. Love, Sex, Life provides free community events to focus on really pertinent themes such as consent, and what this actually means in an empowering way, STI, including HIV testing and its importance, how different genders, age groups, and other intersectional identities within Black and BAME communities engage with sexual health, so that the support, resources, and events that we offer are tailored in a culturally sensitive way. Very importantly, we provide training for healthcare professionals to reduce the disparity of treatment that Black and BAME people face when engaging with services in relation to their sexual and reproductive health. Often, the very thing that can deter our baby boys and girls and baby non-binaries from engaging with the healthcare services they are entitled to is the subpar experience they've had, expect, or fear, and our project is making strides to educate and improve the situation for Black and BAME communities in Lambeth, Southwark, and Lewisham. Everything that the project offers is free and bespoke to the audience that we serve, and that is our greatest point of pride. We want to invite Say Your Mind podcast listeners to learn more by following at Love Sex Life LSL. Okay, Lambeth, Southwark, Lewisham. So that's Love Sex Life LSL on Instagram and socials, and by visiting lovesexlife.org.uk. We have an exciting event coming up in November called Diva Village, which centres Black women and Black non-binary folk and the experiences of being disbelieved and not effectively supported when engaging with sexual health services. The event will be a safe space for the named audience, and recommendations will be gathered from the event to further support the training of sexual health professionals. We also want to invite you to a Black History Month event held by the Lewisham BME Network on Friday 29th of October at 6:30 p.m. at the Stephen Lawrence Centre in Deptford. Details are found at blueprintforall.org/events. Thank you for this, and we hope to support your Lambeth, Southwark, and Lewisham listeners soon. Also, resources that we make can be used by Black and BAME communities, UK, and even worldwide. That's brilliant. Thank you, Chanel. So I will put all of those details about Blueprint for All. I'll include them also in the caption. So you've got lots of things for you to check out. You can check out the GoFundMe to support the person needing help, the sex worker needing help. And also you can go to the Blueprint for All event, as well as just following everything that they're putting up. So 2 slaps in your chest, Chanel, and the whole Blueprint for All people them that are doing all the things that are being done. I love to see it. I fucking love to see it. And these are the things that I like. Like, I love being able to promote these things and talk about everything that's happening. Anyway, without much further ado, we are now moving into the interview with the baby girl Yvonne Orji. I cannot believe it. Imagine. I mean, I never got to be insecure in the end. I mean, I did say that I'd be a cashier or a tree, but I clearly wasn't needed for either role. But it's such a pleasure to be able to talk with Yvonne. I remember I even say in the interview that I saw her at Soho Theatre when she was doing her stand-up comedy tour, and she came to London, and it was great that the way that everybody showed up and showed out for her. It was such a beautiful moment. And to now be like chatting with her, and she's like, "Oh, I know who you are." And I'm like, "Bruh, people, I'm so bait. Fucking hell, mate. I'm so fucking bait." But bait in the best way. I mean, like, if you're gonna be known for, you know, saying your things, saying your mind, and, you know, doing what you want to do in it. So yeah, we're talking about Bamboozled by Jesus, which is Yvonne Orji's debut book, like memoir type book. Really, really funny. And you know what? I like that she wrote it the way that she speaks. That'll make sense to you when you read it, but she literally wrote it how she speaks. And I think that a lot of times when we're writing things, especially when it comes to like writing non-fiction and you're writing a memoir or whatever, you go into this sort of voice. This is my writer voice. I am writing. And it's like, no, fam, just talk how you talk, because the people who have followed you the way that you now talk. Just because you're moving into like the publishing space doesn't mean now you have to now start doing speaky spokey, you know? So I really like that. And I remember reading one review of the book, and somebody was like, oh, she wrote it the way she speaks, and I wasn't expecting that. I found it jarring. I'm like, you know why you find it jarring? Because you're a seasonless, unwashed prick. That's why you found it jarring. Because if you're hearing someone speak a particular way, why would you think it's different when they're writing? People are mad, Sha. But I say all of that to say that I just love that she keeps that element of herself all the way throughout the book. And it's great because I love, like celebrating everyone and all our different journeys and paths that we're on, because we're all just out here finding our truth and finding going deeper and delving deeper into, the collective truth. So I really honor that about, the different journeys that we're all on. And it was an absolute pleasure to speak with Yvonne, but I'll stop chatting now so you can actually listen to the interview. Enjoy! Yvonne Orji.
Auntie Kelechi, how are you? How far now? What did they happen? No shaking.
Oh, no shaking at all. Can you believe, upon your name's very Igbo, my name's very Igbo, but I don't actually understand Igbo.
You don't understand it or speak it?
No.
That wasn't even Igbo. That was pidgin English, Auntie. That was just regular English with the Igbo
No, but I'm
accent.
saying when people see my name, they're like, Kelechi Okafo, hey, Kekwanu, Ibokwenu, la 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 la. I'm like, fam, I don't know. I know Ogbono soup.
But I will say, your Kekwanu was very good. I was like, hi, Kekwanu.
Look at that.
In fact, I want the answer. Odinma.
You have to be able to finesse the thing, but after Odinma, I don't know. No, but I'm so excited to be speaking with you. I've been a massive fan of yours for the longest time, because I feel like people don't really deep it. Well, deep it is I don't know if you guys have it. Do you have deep it? Maybe we even took it from you and I'm imagining it. But I don't think people really clock the levels of how important it is to see somebody that looks similar to you just thriving and doing so on their own terms. Aww. And that's what you've been like. From the moment I saw you as Molly on Insecure, I was just like, yo, that's my girl right there. And I saw you at Soho Theatre when you came on tour with your stand-up comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, I was really laughing. Yvonne, I was really laughing to the point where you looked at me and you were like, do you want to go on stage? Because you're laughing a lot. So
well, first of all, that was probably the most Black people Soho Theatre had seen in all their ages. Because I was like, and all the Nigerians, today is your day. We are having shows. Come.
No, we had to come and support. And it's the same way that I feel like we have to come and support for your book that's already out. Congratulations. Bamboozled by Jesus. Woo. Now, I've listened to pretty much all of the episodes of Jesus and Jollof with you and Lovey. And I think that's such a fantastic dynamic. But again, it's what comes through so clearly about you is God's grace. It sounds really weird to say, but it's like God's grace is so evident in who you are and how you present yourself to the world. And so you having a book that's called Bamboozled by Jesus, I was like, of course. But
it tracks. It makes sense.
It makes sense. It connects. It matches.
I love it.
But how is that feeling so far? We're going to go forward and then go backwards. But the pandemic felt like a big bamboozling for us all. And you write about that as well. So how has it felt so far? Everything was going. You'd written the book, you'd done all of this, and then boom, 2020.
Yeah. Well, first of all, before I even go, I need to tell your listeners that I'm a huge fan of yours too. You started recording after I was giving you your flowers, talking about stuff. I'll be watching your Instagram and Twitter videos when you just walking down somebody's London Bridge, cussing somebody out, giving the people all the business. And I'm just like, people just clearing your pots, allowing you to walk. Because I love it, because you're exercising and then you're exercising your right to have a voice. It's just like, you know what? You better kill two birds with one stone. I love it.
I have to give it to them, because sometimes they try to pretend like we don't exist. I think that's the wickedest part of all of this thing. People will see Britain and be like, oh, you guys have Black people over there. And yeah, and we've been telling them for ages to behave themselves. But yeah, I think that that was scary. Like, I'm not a grateful Black woman. I wasn't even expecting it to resonate with so many people in terms of that specific video. But it just goes to show that we're all out here, we're feeling the same thing. So that's why it's so important for us to truly see each other and celebrate each other. And as you say, like, give each other our flowers rather than waiting forever and ever. So this is me.
No, we're not doing that. We're not waiting. Like, if I see you and I like to, hey, sis, you're beautiful. Like, I don't got, listen, just out here shining. I'm gonna let you know. But to answer your question, I think I wrote Bamboozled by Jesus without knowing we was all going to get bamboozled very soon. It was going to be a collective bamboozlement, whether or not it was by Jesus or by COVID or by whatever. Yeah, we was out here. And, I think that is the bamboozlement of God, because he knew. He was like, yo, this book is for people in a transition. I've always said that. If you're in any kind of transition in your life, it's it's going to make the most sense when you actually read it, because you never know what can happen. But the things that happen, they're not necessarily there to take you out. You know what I'm saying? It's like when they don't take you out, they will take you up. And so it really is that thing of like, okay, God, well, what is this here to teach me? And I'm not going to say everything is a lesson. And what is it? Because sometimes something sucks and they just suck. I'm like, I'm not going to add no faith to this. It sucks. But it's like also like when you get past that moment, it's like, okay, well, what is this? What do I do now? And I think we're asking ourselves, what do I do now? And I think so many people, I don't know how it is in London, but definitely in America, so many people are saying, well, the thing that I did because everyone told me that would guarantee me success, or that would guarantee me longevity and lifelong whatever security, that went away in 18 months. So what do I really do now? Like, what does it mean? And in my life, I've just been one to rock the system without, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of like, okay, I'm Nigerian American gal, parents have these very specific expectations. And I just was like, well, I already know what that road leads down. Like, I've seen the doctors with the, med school loans. And it's like, yes, they have the house, but it's like the two doctors. And so they're both on call. And it's just like, I know what that gets. Every once in a while, they may take a vacation, but like, that's so boring. No offense, but your life is so predictable. It's very predictable. And I was like, I want more. I was like, this can't be the only thing. Like, it's not a bad option. It's kind of like when you like eat the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, I love leftovers, but like, dang, can I get some sushi today? Like, amen. I want something different. And I didn't know that this was different. I didn't even know this was possible. I didn't know how I would make this make sense. But it's the same way with like even getting married. Like, I'm in my 30s, proud 37-year-old. I think I was saying my age, but I at 25, I was seeing the eye twitch in girls who weren't married, and it was just like, wait, what? And it's not a bad thing to want that, but I was like, there's got to be more. And for me, I was like, I want to enjoy singleness. I want to know myself fully so that when I attach myself to somebody else, I'm not looking for them to give me my identity or looking like, dang, I wish I did all of these things before I got married. It's like, yes, I want partnership, but I was willing to sacrifice what everyone expected by a certain age to get what I want now. And so now a partnership can come and it'll be different than what anybody else I know is experiencing. So, when you lean into the bamboozlement, you might be alone for a while. You might, and not like without a boo, but like you might be on an island on your own in the sense of like, nobody understands what the heck you're doing because it doesn't make sense. It's not normal. It's not the way or the path that people expect. And so there are not a lot of people on that path.
Yeah, and that's exactly what my mum would say to me, because my mum was very, very adamant that, Kelechi's going to be a lawyer. Kelechi's going to be a lawyer. So when I was just like, no, I'm still definitely focusing on performing arts school, left there. And I was like, actually, I'm going to also be a personal trainer while I'm in between, like looking for acting roles, whatever. And it's like, Kelechi has come to kill me. My friends, they've got lawyers this, lawyers that, but Kelechi doesn't want to be a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. Cut to now when I've got like a pole dance studio, I'm doing this, doing that. And everyone, she's telling them like, do you know my daughter? Go and Google her. Go and Google her. So suddenly the things that were making them anxious about us are the things that they're now celebrating after the fact, because we had to stand our ground and be like, I understand that nobody understands what I'm doing, fam. I don't even understand what I'm doing, but the source that created me understands what I'm meant to do. So I'm just going to go with that. Like, it just has to work. It has to make sense. Because you write that in the book about the fine print. Like, you're advising us when we're going to go on this journey of bamboozlement, like, don't read the fine print, because your head will start to hurt.
It will spin. Well, I love what you said. I love what you said, because I think people think that they have to have the answers, right? I think, like when your mom is like, how will this work? You're like, I don't know. I don't like, it's for Nigerians, we must know. We must know the end from the beginning, but we're not the alpha or the omega. In fact, we're babies, we're the beta. We're the beta, whatever the kata. I don't know what the C is, but I'm just making stuff up. But, I think people feel like they have to have the right answer. So when someone checks them, so like, how's this going to work? And to say, I don't know, to them feels like, I'm not doing it right. No, when Noah was building the ark, like nobody knew the rain falling from the sky. He was just like, God told me to put 2 of everything on here. So I'm gonna just take this hammer to this nail. And, I write Bible stories. Like, if DMX would have write my Bible story, that's how I write Bible stories. So you're going to get, you're going to get Gangstar, you're going to get Harlem, you're going to get all the things. It's not your grandmama's Bible study. So, I think people just look at that like, well, he lived in the days of God. No, nobody knew what an ox was, the rain. Why are you putting 2 of every animal? What's going on now? People had questions for him, and he was just like, man, God told me to do this. I just shippity dobo. I'm just going to be out here doing what I'm supposed to do. And I think the not knowing part, this is why I tell people not to read the fine print, because you can't know everything. Matter of fact, you shouldn't know everything, because if you knew everything, you think you want to know everything. If you knew everything, you would be like, nah, Sway, nah, God, I don't want the blessings. You can't keep
exactly
them.
You can keep it. I'm all right. Who told you I wanted excellence? I'm all right with mediocre. Thank you so much, God. But I think that is the thing as well. Like, and I also think that when we don't know the thing, our true character, I think that the journey of bamboozlement is an exercise in integrity. When the thing happens, you then realize who the hell you are, because you rise to the occasion. But if you knew it was going to happen, then I don't know if you'd rise in the same way. I mean, I'm talking about it like it's bread, but you get it, like, you wouldn't rise.
No, you're absolutely. I love this analogy, and I wasn't even thinking about bread, but I was like, yes, it's like yeast. You must let the yeast bake. Now I'm hungry. Now I'm like, wait a minute, I want some food. Some puff and some chin chin, please. No, but no, I think you're absolutely correct in the sense of, not only will you rise to the occasion because you know who you are, but you also know who's doing it. And so, like, for me, it takes the pressure off. I enter stuff, I'm like, God, you know I don't even want this life. Even 10 years later, I'm like, God, you're not even after this life. I've been living it, but God, I didn't want it in the first place, so fix it. Whatever this nonsense is, take it. Like, I love giving God the blame. I just like, God, I was just minding my business. You told me to do this, and now this problem came up. Can you go ahead and make this, clear the pathway? Because what am I supposed to do? I was just minding my business. And so I think it's just like, it takes the pressure off of you, because so many people feel like, with my own might, with my own strength, with my own smarts, you're not that smart enough. I mean, you're great, but you're not that smart enough. You're not that skilled enough. You're not that talented enough. You're not that amazing enough. You're not that beautiful enough. You're not any of those things enough. You're a little bit of all of these things. But even with all of the things that you are, it's still not enough.
No, and not by worldly standards. Yes. Because I'm always saying on the podcast, there's like, you don't have to be the best to be the best. To have a pole dance studio, I'm not saying I'm the best pole dancer in the UK, but I'm pretty good at it. But with God's help, God was like, you're gonna have your pole dance studio, and it's gonna be here, and it's gonna be there, and you're gonna shine. But you don't have to be the best to be the best. I think it's by getting that special mercy and grace from God on a specific path that you're on. That is when, like, whether people like it or not, you're going to shine. And that's what comes across. Like, when I was reading that chapter, when you were talking about that, like, I don't have to be the best at this. In fact, I'm aware that I'm not, and I'm cool with that, because I know I'm pretty great. But when God is involved, everything's settled. That's it. One day of favor is worth more than a lifetime of labor. And I think people
just especially the Nigerians. This year, Kelechi, let me tell you right now, I'm telling your listeners, you can take my Nigerian passport if you want. This year, I made a decision to be less Nigerian in my aggressiveness and in my pursuits. And I know it sounds crazy because being Nigerian is what got me to success.
Yeah.
But God was saying, like, the things that worked to get you here won't work to get you there.
Ooh.
And so often we're like, yeah, but this worked. And it's like, yes, the gra energy of Nigerians, as if they are going to Balogun markets and as if they are haggling. You know me, like, by any means necessary, we shall always win. Nigeria, they carry last. Bam, bam.
Yeah.
Like, that energy I had. And you know what? In a season, I needed that. I had tunnel vision. I was like, I will not lose. I know where my people come from. Like, I had that, like, I will always be first class. And it worked. It did good. Now, did I have fun in the process? I can't tell you what I did for fun in those years of grinding. I was just grinding. And so now when I don't have to grind, grinding is all I know. And so when my therapist is like, well, what do you do for fun? I'm like, fun, okay. Which one is this fun? You people keep asking about fun. I mean, I like to walk. Yeah. I was like, I like to walk. She was like, no, like, that's what you do for a job. What do you do for fun? So as a grown woman, I'm like rediscovering what really makes a life. You know, and part of that was putting down that energy of like, go, hustle, 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 because at some point you have to live, you have to enjoy and do less. And God brought me into a season of like, okay, I want you to do less and watch how I'm going to give you more. I was like, hey, do less. How does that work? Because I know what it looks like when I put my strength to stuff. And it was hard. It was so hard in the beginning because I'm like, okay, God, would that have been more successful if I had to put my strength to it? And he was like, you still looking for a way out, aren't you? You still looking to go back to the thing, you know, when I'm trying to call you into, you know, and so it's this push and flow, you know, push and pull with who we are, who we used to be, with who we're being called to be. And listen, girl, I'm gonna say that again for those who didn't hear it. It's this push and pull with who we used to be, with who we're called to be. Yes. And so it's like we're being called to a new dimension. No one will ever be the same after 2020. None of us will. None of us will.
No.
And so we are being called to be a different, newer, higher version of ourselves. But so many people are dipping back into the old version of themselves. And so it's just like, all right, well, how's that working out for you?
Yeah, because it's a kind of like paradigm that people understand. They're like, no, let's go back. I feel like watching it in terms of even celebrity culture, people are trying to go back to what they knew, but that hierarchy doesn't stand anymore. When we saw you man spiraling, because there was nothing there, like all of the things that we're holding, we had to let it go. So we're looking at certain people thinking, see, like there's a new way that you could just be you and still share your talent and do this and do that. So I like that you said that. But what I also love is like kind of differentiating yourself from the character Molly. And I know that must have taken a lot of strength as well, because people like to convolute these things. So when you cut your hair, you look amazing. When you cut it, I was just like, this is a rebirth. It feels like a rebirth, a reemergence, a reassertion of like, this is me. And you guys need to understand that this is me. And even in some respects, I need to understand that this is me, and to be able to separate those things. Is that also part of the bamboozlement journey? Like you said, like, okay, kind of taking ourselves away from who we think we are or who we are to who we're called to be.
Well, it's funny. It's funny that you say I cut my hair to differentiate it, and then Issa was like, "Oh, we love your haircut. We're gonna add that in season 4." I'm like,
oh my god!
Like,
oh my
god! But no, I think it wasn't hard because I differentiated myself from jump, so I knew it. Everybody else didn't know, but I knew going in. I'm not this guy. I'm a character. This is a character, and I get to play her. I get to tap into her, and I leave her when they say cut or that's a wrap. And I knew that because it was just like, and I had to know, you have to know yourself. That's why I talk about it in the book too, like towards the end in the book Blessed and Busy section.
Yes.
You have to know yourself before the blessings come. Because if you're not crystal clear with the you that you are, then when the blessings come, it'll be so convoluted, because then there'll be a price that on your head, You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, if you don't know, like, if I didn't know who I was, when I saw them zeros on the HBO check, I'd be like, hey, okay, I don't usually do this, but it's possible. No, I can try it. And then
I
like,
don't get a lot. God win. Yes.
Hey, don't get a lot. God win. That's my dad. That wakes me up in the morning. First of all, listen. Hey, hey, don't let me start. But you know, you have to know who you are before the thing comes, because it's too late to be trying to figure out who you are. Like, I've seen these people. I know these people, the unscrupulousness of by any means necessary, I will make it. And the crazy thing is, I have made it. And when you get to the side of making it, you realize all of those things, sure, they help your life be comfortable, but there are people who have the comfort and they're not happy. They're not happy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, God, that's trash. I don't want it. Like, I tell God very often, I'm like, hey, God, the minute I am a depressed comedian, take me out the game. It's not going to be fun when I'm supposed to make everybody laugh. And I can't, I don't know what joy is for myself. Take me out, fam. I'm not going to do this. It's like, I like to have a symbiotic relationship with who that I say I am and the what that I say and the what that I do. And so if those two things are not in alignment, something's off. And so I'd rather, you know, Christine Kane has this amazing sermon about being developed in the dark room. And she said, and I quote her in the book, if the light shining on you is different than the light shining in you, then the light shining on you will destroy you.
Wow. That is so perfect. Do you know when something's just perfect? When something just hits? Because that is what we see a lot. And then you're not ready. No, it's not ready. It doesn't match. Oh my God. Wow. I need a moment. Wow. It's true. It's true. It's true. As you say, we have seen it. And you feel for those people, because it's just like, oh, this is tearing you apart because it can't match it. It doesn't meet. Oh, yeah.
But the same way that you watch all these movies or you see people in real life and you're like, so even with all the people that they know that did crimes and didn't get away with it, and they still thought, no, but it won't happen to me. How does that work? And it's just like, so many people believe like, okay, well, I'll be different. You know, like, I just want the light on me. It'll be different for me because I'm different. You're not different, Uncle. No. Please. There are 8 billion people on this earth. The only thing that differentiates us is our addresses. That's it.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah.
And so people literally at any cost will be like, no, it's easy for you to say because you already have the light shining on you. It's like, nah, fam. Again, I think God knew he could trust me because he was like, she don't even care about it. She don't even care about it. Like, after Insecure, I was like, so am I about to retire? Because
I'm done. I got my things. Bye.
Like, you know, and my goals and it's like the dreams I had before anything popped off, they felt so elaborate. And I was like, God, when is that going to happen? Like, I would be like, man, one day I'm going to buy food. And like, if I don't eat it all, it's all right. Like, you know, like just you know, but or like, God, I want to do this and I want to speak here and I want to perform there. And it's like, wait, I've done all those. I bought the house. I got the thing, like everything. Like right now, if I'm being honest, I have everything that I need. Amen. Everything that I need, like in my strategy, like everything that I need. That that were wants so long ago that I was like, man, when will that ever happen? And it's like, I could barely afford rent that I was splitting with somebody. Now I'm like, I got a whole mortgage on auto pay. Like, what the heck? You know
and you mentioned even pizza. There was a point where you were like, fam, I can't even pay for this slice of pizza. But then literally the next year, your life is looking mad different, just in the best way possible. And when we say, won't God do it? That's literally God doing the things that you thought that couldn't happen. But you say in the book as well, like mantras, like your daily beliefs. You say, I believe that when I seek God first, he causes everything else to be added onto me. I believe God has gone before me to make every crooked path straight. And this is it. Look at it. Look at the path.
It is. And the thing about it is like, and to your listeners, like, I know religion has been used. It's funny. I'm watching this documentary on HBO Max now, and I'm like, yo, people really be trying to make themselves small gods. People really be like, in the name of Jesus, just usurping power. And like, I get it. Sometimes I'm in the church, and I'm like, sometimes the church people make church trash. Like, but then I think about there's nothing new under the sun, because Jesus had the same problem. Jesus is like, who you think I am? You know, okay, he is without sin, cast the first stone. And they couldn't do it. So he's challenging the church who he came to be. Like, it's like they didn't even know he was the thing, because they're still trying to hold on to church. So I know I know that people will look at this and be like, I'm good on God. I'm good on, and it's just like, listen, I get it. I understand it. I'm not even trying to like proselytize to you and be like, well, I'm just saying, like, this is the anchor in my life. And I tune myself out from the rubbish, right? Because I'm going directly to the source, you know. Amen. And I think the thing that bothers me, because I see it now, it's like, as a celebrity, I'm just so turned off by the pastors who also want to be celebrities. I'm like, fam, my God, do your job, Biko, please.
You had one job. You had one job. Why are you trying to diversify the thing? Do your job.
And the people who are actually celebrities are just like, we just want to come to church, fam. We don't want smoke. We don't want the bells and whistles. We just want faith. We want what it is that God put in you, because we give you what it is that God put in us. Like, but now you try to be me, and I'm just trying. I don't. Why? Just please tell me.
It's true.
You know what I mean? And it's so. And I'm not saying, listen, I came up with the prosperity ministry. So I believe fully that, like, God will bless any and everybody, including pastors. So that's not what I'm trying to say. But you see the ones that you're like, you want to be famous so bad.
So badly. Wow. So badly. Just calm down on Instagram, Pastor. Take it easy. Not every day. But no, I love it, and I agree. And I talk about it on a podcast often, like, not conflating religion, dogma, whatever, with just having a relationship with God. Like, and I can have a direct relationship with God without the middleman. But to wrap us up, because I know that you're booked, busy, blessed. Yes. I wanted to say, like, you've mentioned on Jesus and Jollof, and you've mentioned in a book about as well, about when you were younger and being bullied, right? And so many other Black girls, people generally, but specifically Black girls, women, have gone through the same thing. So what message, what kind of words of encouragement would you give your younger self now, who is really not realizing that they're already on the path of bamboozlement in the best way possible, and they're letting these little people that are kind of getting to them and tormenting them do the bamboozling of letting them think that they've got any power?
I will never forget going into a store. I can't remember what store it was. Had to be maybe 8. And it said, there's a sign on it that said, I wish my enemies live long so they can see what I become in the future. And that's like the fact that I'm 37 years old and I remember that sign, and I remember the height of being bullied, just like leaning on to that. I mean, I also had a Nigerian mom that was like, we did not come here for you to make friends. We came here for you to excel. And I was like, well, I mean, I want to make friends too. But I think she just was like, listen, Beyonce said it, but she was like, best revenge is your paper, and always stay gracious. But back then, Celine Oji was saying, just become something with your life. and these girls, one day you will be their boss. And I was like, I'll be their boss. We're in 8th grade. What the heck? What do you mean?
What am I doing?
What are they becoming in life, and what store do I own? But she was right. She was speaking life into me, because I am somebody's boss. Hallelujah.
Yes. Amen.
But to those girls, it's when you're in it, you feel like this is it. There's so many, and it's not just even young people. It's like when you're in the midst of a dark situation, you feel like this is it. This is so gangster. Like my life, like what? And it's because you're in the tunnel. You're in the tunnel, and it's such a long one. You don't even see the outside of it. Yeah. But I will tell you, it is a blip. It is a moment. It is a space and time that will quickly go away. And it's up to you to not let the remnants hit you, right? It's like someone once told me, like, don't let it beat you twice. Don't let situations beat you twice, right? And so for me, I allow, like, that the bullying, the remnants of it still showed up as an adult, because I became a people pleaser. Because it was like, okay, well, I don't want to say anything wrong, because I don't know what it was that caused them to bully me in the first place. So let me just make sure that I'm always looked at in a positive light and favorable with other people. And it's like, it has taken me years to shed that, to where I'm like, you know what? I'm just the me that I'm going to be. Everybody won't rock with me. And that's okay, because I rock with me. I rock with, like, it took me time to learn the me, like, to learn and love the me that I am, to really understand who is me. And it's so crazy, because you're just like, how am I asking myself who I am as a grown-up, and I've already accomplished things? What the heck? So is my life a lot? Like, and I remember in quarantine, I listened to Bishop Jakes' message, I Didn't Know I Was Me. And it was the first time that somebody ever put those words together in a sentence that made sense. And he was talking about how, like, he was successful, he was doing all the things, he was like, still didn't know he was me. So, like, he couldn't, the interaction and the interface that he had with all of these things happening didn't have the same weight for him as it did for other people looking at his life, because he didn't know he was him. And so for everybody going through a situation right now where it feels like it's the darkest moment in your life, or you're being attacked in some way, it's like, it's a moment. It will pass. Get to know the you that you are, because in the midst of the noise, okay, this is the truth. Yes. In the midst of the noise, you will find the truth. And that is when the Bible says the truth will set you free. I didn't really connect the dots, but the truth is the thing that'll have you be like, y'all can keep talking, I'm gonna be out. No, I'm out. I'm out. Enjoying my life. Keep talking, because that's a freedom. That's a freedom to not need to, like, okay, let me defend myself, because if I don't, no matter what you say, it won't matter. So you might as well just be like, hey, did we do okay? Do we need to reassess the situation? Is there any truth in what these people are saying? And it's like, if you check with you, because you know you so well, and you realize that you is okay, continue, move along, my friends. Move along with your life.
Yeah, that is a word. You're everything, Yvonne. Everything. That is an absolute word, because it's literally everything that I would usually say when I'm talking on a pod about things like this. It's knowing the true you and holding on to that. And thank you for sharing you with us in your vulnerability, your transparency, in every channel that you use, whether it's the book, whether it's a podcast, whether it's through your acting, your stand-up comedy. Big up your mum. Like, I just love seeing that. And now you've mentioned having everything that you've felt as a need, now that you have, but I pray that even more that you haven't envisaged comes your way through God. Like, you deserve it. Like, you've been doing all of the things and you're still here, and we freaking love to see it.
Thank you. I received. Same to you. I was like, I need the husband, because that is a want. That wasn't a need. That was a want. So if you're in London, if you're wherever you are listening to this, Uncle, just, slides somewhere.
Slides a little bit.
Ask someone for my number. No, don't do that. Don't ask my mama for my number, because I was like, who is this person? Who's Emeka? And why is
he a doctor?
But no, I still desire that, and it's coming.
It's coming. It's just the next level of the bamboozlement. Watch, in the most random way possible, the best person is arriving.
I receive that, and I believe that. Book number 2 coming soon. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.
And there you have it. My interview, brilliant interview with baby girl, Emmy-nominated stand-up comedian, actress, and author, Yvonne Orji. It was such a pleasure, absolute pleasure. 2 slaps on your chest on your journey of bamboozlement. It was just amazing, absolutely amazing, great time. I love it, fucking love it. Just fucking love it. Just love to see the growth, and I really literally cannot wait, because at this point, when Insecure basically returns next week, innit? If you're listening to this at the time that it's out, that means that Insecure's back next week. Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't take it. The last ever season. I'm gonna cry. I just know it'll be beautiful. I just know it'll be beautiful. And I can't wait to see how they've incorporated Yvonne cutting her hair into Molly's journey. I know that will be extra cute. But yeah, man, excited for all the things. And that was all the positivity. Anyway, let's get into all the fuckery. With So You Mad. Just looking at all of the things that are happening, current affairs, pop culture, all of the things that are just random things that catch my eye. We're going to do a follow-up from last week's So You Mad, where I was talking about Jessie Nelson and the blackfishing. And at that point, we did know that Nikki was planning to do an Instagram live with Jessie. And obviously that Instagram live did go ahead. And it's really disappointing. It's just really disappointing to see just black women moving mad. But then again, when they wear coloured contact lenses, I don't know what more you can expect from them. Barbs, calm down. Yeah, fall back, relax, take a chill pill, go and finish your studies. Yeah, it's just wild. Like, it was just so irresponsible of Nikki to have Jessie on Instagram live, and they're speaking to over 1,000 and something, hundreds of thousands of people, over 100k people I think were on that. I could be wrong, I can't remember the number. I'm always shocked by that ratio, because people can have millions of followers, and then when it comes to Instagram live, it's like 100,000. But maybe that's normal, because I guess if you have thousands of followers, when I go on Insta, it's only maximum up to 1,000 people that I've ever seen on a live with me or whatever. So yeah, maybe it's just a normal thing. I don't know. Anyway, she's on with Jessie now, and Jessie insisted on having her shirt hanging off one shoulder. And that really irritated me for the entire time, looking like the Bride of Chucky. I didn't understand why that one shirt, that she was wearing a flannel shirt, and then she had on a white bra or some kind of vest top, and then the one shoulder of the flannel shirt now needed to hang off. And it stayed there the whole time. It didn't shift, it didn't nothing. It just felt so contrived. I mean, the whole thing was contrived, but it was just annoying. And for her to be oh yeah, no, I wasn't blackfishing. This is my hair. This is my curly hair. It's just my natural curly hair. It's always weird to me when white women are oh, this is my natural hair. Stop trying to steal terms, firstly. But also, no, that's not. No, that is not. No, that is not. My dad has curly hair like this. First of all, your dad needs to have hair. Your dad needs to have hair. It was just a lie after lie after lie. She's oh, and I don't even wear fake tan to intentionally do anything. I was in Antigua for 3 weeks, and this is just how I turned out. You're a liar. You're a liar, and you're a vagabond. You're a liar. Because first of all, if the Antiguan sun can do all of that to you, you need to what? Go and see a doctor. I don't know which kind of doctor. Maybe you've already seen Dr. Miami. Maybe you need to see Dr. Phil. He's wayward. I don't know. At this point, maybe you can see Iyanla. You've already darkened yourself enough, so maybe you can be a contender for having a sit down with Iyanla Van Zandt. Maybe that would be good for you. But she was just there oh yeah, I've got dark because I was in Antigua for 3 weeks. No, you didn't. And also, when people lie, can you be consistent with your lie? Because your friend who did your deep tan, she even said that she used the shade dark for you, posted your picture and posted that this is what she done for you. So why is there the need to just tell unnecessary lies, whether it's your hair, whether it's your skin? And then she even went as far as to say, even when I was in a group with Leanne would say, are you sure you don't have black in you or black in your family? Because you're getting darker than me in the sun. What? I mean, I don't even know whether Leanne said that or not, because like I said, in my opinion, everybody's mad. And it turns out from what Nohan was saying, that he said that the DMs weren't fake. So, well, but again, I don't have any, everybody can do what they're doing in it. It's not my business in that way. I'm just facing my front, but I don't see any sort of innocent per se parties in all of this. So that's one thing. So I guess if you're going to be oh, well, we'll get to that in a second. Anyway. So she was oh, Leanne said that, you must have black in your family somewhere because I didn't want to say black in her because, yeah, that's an obvious one on the nose or on the clit. Well, anyway, so she says that, and I'm just again, with all of this, oh, I get so dark in the sun, I get darker than you. First of all, fuck you. I said first of all so many times, it's probably sixth of all by now, but no, really, fuck you. Fuck you. I hate that comparison because it's always, oh, I don't see color. But the moment the sun comes out, ha ha, nigga, I'm darker than you nignog. I don't need it. I don't care for it. I don't want it. Right. But the whole Instagram live was just a mess. And it was just like, Nicki Minaj was like, oh, if they're going to get on you about like, I can't even do her accent. But it's like, if they're going to get on you about like blackfishing, then we need to talk about that, you know, black girls have the long wigs, the blonde hair, and the colored contacts. Then none of us can do any of that shit. What are you saying? What is going on over there in the Petty Minaj household? The Penage household. What's going on? And then, obviously, as always, people wheel up the pictures of the Melanesian children like, oh, black people have blonde hair too and these coloured eyes. Those children are so tired. They want to be left out of these conversations. You just wear your wig in peace and leave the Melanesian children alone. Leave them alone. And it just feels like we're talking about Yvonne Orji's book about the journey of bamboozlement, but it's like Nicki Minaj is really trying to bamboozle us in the front of our eyes. First of all, focus on what your husband's doing and the charges against him that you're now implicated in. Focus on that rather than trying to get us to think that it's okay for Jessie to be doing what she's doing because everybody wants to make their pee, everybody wants to make their money, you know? That is part of the problem. She wanted a distraction. She wanted the outrage. And then she sets in on Leanne about, you're a clown. You're a clown. If you would do that shit and you'd be sending texts and then you're a fucking clown. And then Jessie's sitting there like one Christmas goat waiting to be slaughtered and just staring in the screen. Like, you are complicit even when you're silent. And then at a certain point, she started laughing now when Nicki's speaking patois. You're the same one that was like, how do you say bacon? How do you say bacon in the Jamaican accent? Beer can. Beer. Like, you're so cringe. And then she's cracking up. You didn't even understand a word of what she said. Oh, yeah, no, this is me. This is how I've always been. But I didn't get to be myself in Little Mix. This is how I've always been. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because you're like, oh, I've always been into hip-hop. I love hip-hop. But then she said Lil Durk or whatever. And then she said Young M.A. And your eyes were just there looking. Because you didn't know. Staring like Bambi. You didn't know who she was referring to. But you love hip-hop, Abby. You better hip-hop on out of here. God. You love hip-hop, but you could disrespect it in such a way that you're doing all these caricatures on the low riders and I don't know, that Union Jack bandana. Like, oh God, it's not even a case of when like Jerry Halliwell left the Spice Girls. You know, this one is Jerry will not be well, will never be well. You know, like don't do that. Don't lie to our faces. And that's what I think is interesting. Like, you man was saying that when you were in a group with her, she was blackfishing already and you brought it to her attention. But it's only now that you want to say something. Now. Anyway, they've got their own single coming out anyway, so everyone can sort out their own hickey hagger. But I just feel like it's disappointing what Nicki was trying to do, and just say, yeah, no, you do you. Don't listen to the haters. You do you, and rah rah rah. But the thing is, once Nicki's moved on to promoting the next single, you're going to be left flailing in the wind, and you will have no one to back you, nobody to help you back your chat. Then what are you going to do? I want to apologize to anyone that I might have offended because this is just me. No, go away. I just find it all so tedious. Like, Itchy Azalea did it before. Talking about I'm a runaway slave master. All these sort of lyrics, like, people are just playing in the faces of black women constantly. But then now when the revolution happens and black women start slapping all of you up, everybody will be crying. But just know that you asked for it. You're gagging for it. So yeah, I saw that. Anyway, let's move to the from one wayward person, one liar to another liar. The one who tried to bamboozle the British people. Matt's hand in the cock. Matt's hand on the cock. Wow. A story in 2 acts is what I would call it. Yeah, a play in 2 acts. Wow. The fuckery is the thing. Woo! So anyway, Matt Hancock resigned. Remember when he was grabbing batty crease, when he was grabbing spine and lips in his offices, not realizing that a camera was watching him, with his aide, the one that was married to the guy that owns Oliver Bonas, or is it Bonas? Oliver Bonas. So anyway, Matt Hancock tweeted, when was it, on the 12th? I think it was the 12th of October. And he said, oh, hey, bitches. No, he didn't say, hey, bitches. I'm paraphrasing. But it basically said that he's gotten a new role and it's very, very cute. And there's nothing that any of you hosts can do about it because he's living his best life, even if he had to resign as the health minister for health. Even though he had to resign, it's fine because he's got a new role host. He says here, honoured. This was at 6 p.m. on the 12th of October, 2021. Honoured to be appointed United Nations Special Representative. I'll be working with the UN and ECA official to help African economic recovery from the pandemic and promote sustainable development. When I say this motherfucker got ratioed, yeah. Whoa. He got ratioed to Bumba. What do you mean you'll be working with the UN, the United Nations, to help African economic recovery from the pandemic and promote sustainable development? Bitch, where? Have you even helped Britain? You that was chopping money. You were chopping money left, right, and center. On Joe. You are chopping money left, right, and center. Like, the British people could not see anything. Nurses, all of them people there were asking for PPE. You said PP, nah. All of those things were happening. And then now you want to now stretch your long forehead and your thin lips and your long throat to the people of Africa to say that that's where you now want to go and find yourself because you want to help with economic development. You better go and economically develop hell, the fifth circle of hell where you belong, where your residence is. Go and develop there. You have no business being in Africa. I'm so sorry. You have no business being there. And obviously, a lot of people felt the same way because he got dragged up and down, left and right. Ooh, baby, hit me one more time. We hit him how many times? 3,331 quote tweets. You got your ass handed to you. So he tweeted that on the 12th of October, felt really cute about himself. And this is why I say, like, oftentimes, I don't even know. Maybe the contract or everything was already signed, sealed, delivered, but God said this is not yours and took it back. All we now see is that newspapers or the media outlets start covering the story that he's not doing that anymore. It says here, former Health Secretary Matt Hancock has had a job offer from the United Nations withdrawn. Mr. Hancock announced this week that he had been given a role helping Africa's economy recover from COVID. The UN said he would bring valuable experience, but Mr. Hancock now says a rule has come to light that prevents him from taking the job while an MP. You're a liar. Why do people, oh my God. Why do people like to lie so much? Why do people try to lie so much? They knew you were a whole ass MP. There are other MPs that also have similar roles doing whatever they're doing. They're trying to spin it for you, baby, but they can't spin it for you. They can't. All they're doing is scratching up the track. They're scratching it up. Nobody can spin this for you. It's unspinnable. Because why? The embarrassment is the embarrassment, and you've just got to live with it. You've got to live with it. You've got to swallow that L the way that you were swallowing that woman's tongue. Yeah, when you were cheating on your wife. He said leading figures across Africa and UK opposition parties had criticised the UN's choice of the MP for the role. On Tuesday, the former Health Secretary tweeted a copy of the letter from UN Under-Secretary General Vera Songwe offering him the unpaid role. He was congratulated by former cabinet colleagues, including Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, Housing Secretary Michael Gove and Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries. But the West Suffolk MP faced a backlash from critics on social media who pointed out the fact that a highly critical report from MPs on the UK government's handling of the pandemic had been released on the same day. And Mr. Hancock's new role came 4 months after he resigned from his cabinet post for breaking social distancing guidelines by kissing a colleague. Kissing a colleague? Anyway, let me not even start. He had been planning to continue as a Conservative MP while working as the UN Special Representative on Financial Innovation and Climate Change for the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. The UN has now told him the appointment is not being taken forward. Mr. Hancock said he had been honoured to be approached by the UN, but it later wrote to him to explain that the UN rule has subsequently come to light. They literally had to find a reason. They were like, oh, baby, we are scrambling for something, but you can't have this role. No. He added, since I'm committed to continuing to serve as MP for West Suffolk, this means I cannot take up the position. I look forward to supporting the UNECA in their mission in whatever way I can in my parliamentary role. No. It's not a rule that anybody knows about. You just weren't going to get the thing because it was actually brought to light that you were one of the people who actively stopped the continent of Africa and other, I think India as well. You stopped other people from being able to develop their own vaccines during the height of the panoramic. You were stopping them from being able to do that. You were blocking their efforts to have their own vaccinations and things like that. So how can you want to help with the economic development of a continent that you were actively trying to diminish their growth and diminish their health because you wanted to do what you're doing? And some people were like, yeah, but it's an unpaid role. And I just think that some of you are fucking stupid sometimes. I've really got to say it. You're really fucking ridiculous, right? Because one thing you need to understand about Western society is that money comes after title. People in this life, they can die for a title. They can. Why do you think people are chasing MBE, OBE, boom, boom, B, baby B, up and down? Why do you think that they're chasing all of that up and down? Because title comes before the money. Yeah, money comes after title. People they can eat a title in this life. They cannot have a 5 a day of their fruit and veg, but you know what they can have? A title, a motherfucking title, because that sense of superiority, that sense of feeling like they're somewhere in the hierarchy of things, everybody gets hard over that, they get a whap just over thinking about having a title. So while it's listed as the role being unpaid, the amount of access and influence that he would have means that he would get money from elsewhere, right? And that is really what they're doing. And by the time that they've paid you for doing this, paid you for doing that, even if they're not paying you a salary in your official capacity, they're going to have to cover certain costs and do certain things. That is where you're going to get your money from, because no one's trying to take these roles for no reason, unless he's got his eye at some point on being foreign secretary. So he's like, well, if I get this, then that looks good on my CV. A lot of these men are just career politicians. They're just looking at how can their CV bang so they can be in the international space, eating that real big money, not any of this small change that they're having just from being MPs. They want the big bucks, and that's where they're all trying to set themselves up. Case in point, Priti Patel, she's been doing that for a minute. So the fact that it's unpaid is not the issue. It's the influence, it's the access, it's the power that it would give him that we should have a problem with. He's going to get money from doing what he'll be doing within that role anyway. This is somebody that was approving contracts from his fucking Gmail account and not even using his official governmental account. If he can swindle the kind of money that he swindled from the British people, what the fuck do you think he's going to be doing with somewhere like Africa, where people are already trying to bleed it dry? And I really want to have a conversation about who the United Nations, who the fuck they think that they are, because also that's an imperialist construct, this kind of hyper-paternalistic kind of structure that's like, oh, we need to protect Africa from itself because it just doesn't know what it's doing. We're here to kind of put everything in place. Sometimes you see some of the meetings that they're having and there isn't a single tanned face, there isn't a single black face to be seen, because it's just one of the leftovers from imperialism, and they'll be appointing each other to these roles to look after a continent that they have a deep disdain for and only bother to tolerate it because it literally fuels the rest of the world. So even that in and of itself is a problem. Like, who the fuck are you to be appointing Matt Hancock to do anything? Not talk less of something to do with Africa, to do anything. Why are you all appointing yourself to do shit? Why? And this song way, somebody, go and sing your song elsewhere. Like, just go away. Who didn't do their check already. Like, why would you offer someone a role that had fucked up in this way so majorly? I talked about white men failing upwards. This is a perfect example of that. Like, just failing anyhow. And this Vera Songway, a black woman, but she's giving me Kemi Badenoch vibes, where you're just doing anyhow. Just doing anyhow. Vera Songway is the first woman to head the UN's Economic Commission for Africa at the level of Undersecretary General. So in that role, you know what? Her braids are actually a bit fresh, so she's not going full Kemi. But I just don't understand how you can be in a role that you can be in this role and it's fucking Matt Hancock, that you thought, yeah, you know what, that's who I'm going to bring in. And we really even need to have a conversation about the World Bank, because that's where she joined in 1998, where she worked in, what is it here, Poverty Reduction and Economic Management unit covering Morocco and Tunisia. The World Bank is also a farce, and the way that they keep holding countries that had the cheek to want independence from their imperialist masters, or they call them masters, they're the thieves that arrived in daylight, holding them in these stupid quote unquote third world debt. Like, that's the World Bank is responsible for that, and I just think it's all just very mad. The perception of money. The idea of money and how it's used against people who are black, basically. But yeah, I just think it's very, very weird that she would choose Matt Hancock and then be like, oh, sorry, realize that he's a fuckboy. So no, sorry, we'll take that back. We found a rule. We found a rule as to why he can't do the role. It's just all a mess. It's just a mess. So that was taken back, and I also see that other people were trying to take their things back as well, because the people of Ethiopia are asking Britain to return their fucking things. It says here, they are hidden religious treasures that have been in the British Museum stores for more than 150 years, never on public display, with members of the public strictly forbidden from seeing them. Now hopes have been raised that Ethiopian tablets looted by the British after the Battle of Magdala in 1868 could finally be returned home following a new legal opinion and an appeal backed by Stephen Fry, the author Lem Sise, and the former Archbishop of Canterbury, George Carey. The wood and stone tablets are altar tablets, considered by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church as the dwelling place of God on earth and the representation of the Ark of the Covenant. They have, everyone agrees, huge spiritual and religious value for the people of Ethiopia. A letter has been sent to the British Museum trustees, signed by supporters, including Rupert Everett, actor Rupert Everett, and the British ambassador to Ethiopia, Sir Harold Walker. It says the museum has acknowledged the sanctity of the tablets and has never put them on display, allowed them to be studied, copied, or photographed. Instead, they sit in the vaults where they remain over 150 years later, unknown to the vast majority of people in this country. It continues, we believe that today the British Museum has a unique opportunity to build a lasting and meaningful bridge of friendship between Britain and Ethiopia by handing the tablets back to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. A number of attempts have been made by Ethiopia to get the tablets returned, but the museum argues it is forbidden by the British Museum Act of 1963 to restitute objects in its collection. But you made up that... Oh, fucking hell. Fucking hell. Imagine if I stole something. I come to your yard and I steal something and I take it to my yard, and then I tell you that there's now a law in place that means that I can't let this thing go from my yard because it's got to stay here now because I've stolen it. Finders keepers. That's basically what your British Museum Act of 1963 is. It's basically, sorry bitch, finders keepers. I keep telling you, I know it's recorded. Don't give a fuck. I don't give a eck. I don't give a damn. Let me make billions in this life. I don't even want billions, but let me say, let me make a shit amount of money, like a shitload of money in this life. Yeah, I promise you, I will hire the best thieves in the world. I mean, the second best thieves, because like I've already said, Britain are the best thieves. I will hire the best thieves in the world to come and take back people's things and hand it back to the countries. Yeah, you'll call me Robin Peckham. Yeah, not even Robin Hood, because I already know Peckham is the hood, but I'll be something like Kelechi Hood or Robin Peckham. I don't know, but I'm not robbing Peckham. I'm robbing this England. Anyway, I'll give people back their things, because this is actually ridiculous. You stole somebody's fucking shit. You stole their shit, and then you're telling them, oops, sorry, I can't give it back to you because I've put this rule in place that says I can't give it back to you. You can scrap your law at any time. And this is a perfect example that just because something is law does not make it morally correct, does not make it ethically sound, right? Just because it is law. Slavery was also law, right? So don't keep telling me, oh, but that's the law and that's unlawful. No, because the law was made up by people, and people are flawed and they're mad. Everybody is fucking mad. You're telling me I can't have my shit back because you've decided that I can't. Everybody's getting slapped up. Everybody will get their ass handed to them because you're fucking ridiculous. Wow. You can't have it back because I've got it now. Do you know how wild that is? Do you actually deep how wild that is? But actually, what I'm going to say to you is that this isn't the only thing that I feel like they're holding. Not just the Ethiopian Orthodox Church's tablets. It's not just those things that they're holding, right? I feel like the reason that this country can have everybody in such a chokehold, for want of a better term, is because there are spiritual artifacts. I know that they even have it from the Yoruba people. There are spiritual artifacts that they have so much power that they hold these things in vaults that allows them to keep doing the fuckery that they're doing. And should they hand these things back, I'm telling you, this country will crumble. This country will crumble. People like to talk about, oh, I don't believe in rituals, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that. But if you've gone to the Tower of London, didn't they clip they say it's superstition and it's not a big deal, but they clip the feet or whatever, or the wings of the birds. Who is it? It's the crows or whatever that's there, whatever, magpies, I don't know. But then blackbirds anyway. And they say, like, if they go, then the Tower of London will crumble. So they've clipped their wings so they can't go anywhere. And I believe that the way that they've clipped their wings is the way that they've clipped the destiny of a lot of the people of this country. Because they know that should people's eyes start to shine and they realise what the fuck is going on, they won't stand for it. And everything will have to change. And people don't want that. And that's what I love so much about Lovecraft Country. I'm so pissed off that it didn't get renewed. Because, like, white people have magic. White people have magic. And they've been practicing it for a very, very, very long time. But they now told you about Christianity and said that, boom, this is what we've been focusing on. Don't worry about that other shit. And told people to move away from their own indigenous cosmologies in order to follow this particular brand. I'm not saying all of Christianity, this specific brand of Christianity, to follow this specific thing that will keep you in a specific mindset for however long while they continue their rituals. And those rituals are things like holding other people's spiritual artifacts, holding them in vaults and not letting them have it back, because you know that if they have it back and the power returns to those people, everybody's done for. Everybody's absolutely done for, because I'm talking about everybody in the sense of all the wayward people. And there'll be a restructuring and a realigning of power that they're not ready for. And honestly, that's what I think it is, because sometimes I just genuinely don't get how people are this wild. Like, how can you not see what's happening? It's weird to me. It's very, very weird to me. Anyway, that's just my wild theory that I just felt that I would share with you all, because you know that I have all of these things going on in my mind. But yeah, that's that. Anyway, Start Your Motors will be back next week, because then we've got the Texas Grand Prix, the USA Grand Prix. We've got that. Actually, like next year, 2022, we're also going to have the Miami Grand Prix as well.